Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Logan's Voice, a podcast born from grief, driven by love, and fueled by a mission to save lives. My name is Doug Ballinger. I'm a father, I'm an advocate, and I'm the voice of my son, Logan. This week marks my fifth Father's Day without him. 5 years. That sentence doesn't even feel real sometimes. It catches in my throat when I say it out loud. There are days it feels like he was just here, and others when the weight of his absence is so crushing it knocks the breath out of me. Father's Day used to mean something joyful. It meant Logan cracking jokes, giving me a card he made or picked out. Sometimes he'd cook with me, or just hang out while we grilled. Music playing, laughing at whatever crazy thing was happening that week. Now Father's Day is quieter, not silent, but changed. The world keeps spinning, the ads keep playing, and everyone keeps saying Happy Father's Day, while a part of me quietly braces for the emotional punch that comes with hearing those words. Because when your child is gone, that day, just like every holiday, it hits differently. And yet I still show up. Not because it's easy, but because Logan deserves to be remembered. And because other dads, other families are walking this road too. And I want them to know they're not alone. So today, I want to speak from the heart. Not as an expert or an advocate or even a podcast host, but as a dad missing his son and trying to figure out the meaning in the mess of this grief and love. Let's talk about Father's Day. 5 years later. Father's Day is supposed to be a celebration, a time to honor dads, share memories, laugh over backyard barbecues, and unwrap ties we will never wear. But for so many of us, fathers who've lost a child, it's become something entirely different. It becomes a reminder of what's missing. For me, it's Logan. Every year as Father's Day approaches, I feel it building in my chest. It's like this emotional barometer ticking higher and higher with each commercial, each greeting card display, each smiling post on social media. And don't get me wrong, I don't begrudge anyone their joy. I'm glad when people get to celebrate. But there's an emptiness that grows louder in the background, a kind of ache that doesn't go away no matter how much time has passed. Because 5 Father's Day later, the truth is this. I still want to hear his voice. I still want to get a phone call. Or even just a goofy text that says, Hey, old man, happy Father's Day. I would give anything to hear that again. The thing about grief on days like this, that it's not just sadness, it's layered. It's love that has nowhere to go. It's pride in being Logan's dad, mixed with devastation that I can't protect him, can't hold him, can't watch him grow older. It's a kind of love that doesn't get to land anywhere. Sometimes people ask me, what do you do on Father's Day now? And honestly, it changes from year to year. Some years I've tried to hide from it. Other times I've tried to honor it by sharing Logan's story, by lighting a candle, or being around others who knew him. But there's no right way to do Father's Day when your child is gone. There's only your way. And that way might look different every single year. What matters is that we give ourselves permission to grieve, to feel, to speak their names. Because silence is the one thing I refuse to accept anymore. Logan's absence will always be felt, especially on Father's Day. But so will his presence, because he made me a father, and that can never be taken away. The hardest part of grief isn't just the missing, it's the quiet. The silence where their laughter used to be. The empty spaces where their story was still being written. But I refuse to let Logan's story end with a period, because even in death, his voice still speaks. It speaks through me. Logan was more than the worst thing that ever happened to him. He was more than a statistic, more than a toxicology report, more than a cautionary tale. He was kind, he was funny, and he was complicated, and he was mine. And his life mattered. Logan struggled with substance use disorder, a condition that far too many people still misunderstand. He was trying to survive in a world that doesn't offer many safe spaces for people who are hurting. He didn't wake up one day and choose addiction. He was exposed, like so many others, to a system that offers a pill for every pain, but almost no true healing. A system that punishes people for being sick and blames them for trying to feel better the only way they know how. Logan didn't want to die. I know that for a fact. He wanted to live. He just didn't know how to escape the cycle. And the truth is, he wasn't alone. There are thousands of Logans out there, sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, beautiful, brilliant, hurting souls just trying to make it one more day. And we're losing them. Every single day, fentanyl has become the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. That's not an epidemic. That's a national emergency. That's why I speak out. That's why I wrote Logan's story. That's why I host this podcast. That's why I helped lead Hope Movement Coalition, because I couldn't save my son. But maybe, just maybe, I can help save someone else's. And maybe through this microphone, through every post, through every speech, Logan is still reaching people, still showing up, still reminding us that all these lives are worth fighting for. His voice isn't gone. It's just carried differently now. To every father listening right now, especially the ones walking through grief, you are not invisible. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Society doesn't always know what to do with grieving fathers. We're supposed to be the strong ones, the ones who hold it all together. We're told, often without words, that it's not okay to cry, that we should man up, push through, focus on fixing what's broken. But when your child dies, there's no fixing that. There's no duct tape for a shattered heart. And let me say this clearly. Being a man doesn't mean being silent. Being strong doesn't mean being numb. And being a father doesn't end when your child dies. We still carry that title. We still carry that love. We still carry them. And it's okay to carry that in tears. It's okay to carry that in stories, in photos, in memories, in advocacy, or in simply surviving another day when your soul feels so empty. To the dads who've lost a child to overdose, poisoning, suicide, illness, or tragedy of any kind, your pain is valid. Your voice matters. You don't have to suffer in silence just because the world doesn't always make space for male grief. In fact, the world needs to see it. The world needs to hear from fathers who are willing to say, I'm broken, but I'm still here. Fathers who will show their kids, living or lost, that love never dies. It just takes on a new shape. And if your child is still here, if you're lucky enough to still hear their voice, please lean in. Show up. Listen more than you talk. Ask hard questions. Talk about mental health, about peer pressure, about the world they're growing up in. Let them know they can come to you without shame or fear, because I promise you, connection saves lives. Let's be the kind of dads who fight for that connection, the kind who lead with love, the kind who say the hard things and say them out loud, because our kids deserve that, and so do we. So as I sit here, 5 Father's Day removed from the last one I shared with Logan, I find myself holding 2 truths at the same time. I will never stop grieving my son, and I will never stop being proud that I'm his dad. Grief has taught me a lot over the past 5 years. It's taught me that healing doesn't mean forgetting, that joy and sorrow can live side by side, that telling Logan's story again and again isn't dwelling in pain, it's honoring love. It's love that doesn't have a place to land until I give it one. Sometimes that's in my podcast. Sometimes it's in a conversation with another grieving parent. Sometimes it's at events like Bridge the Gap, where families gather to remember, to fight, and to hope. Sometimes it's just in the quiet of my own heart whispering, I love you, Logan, into the stillness. If you're listening today and you're missing someone, I want you to know there's no timeline for your healing, no rule book for your pain, and no expiration date for your love. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to feel both in the same breath. And on Father's Day, whether your child is in your arms or in your memories, I hope you'll give yourself permission to feel it all, to speak their name, to share their story. Because silence won't save lives, but your voice might. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for helping me keep Logan's voice alive. Thank you for walking with me, even when the road is heavy. If you'd like to read Logan's story, you can find it on Amazon. You can also visit logansvoice.com to learn more about my mission, get some awareness gear, or listen to past episodes of this podcast. Please follow, subscribe, and share this episode because someone out there needs to know they're not alone. I am Doug Ballinger. I am Logan's voice. I am Logan's dad, and I will not be silent.